A difficult moment for Georgia's Lucy Weiner. While we were away, she had some trouble on the balance beam and only scored an 8.7. Let's look at what happened.
Because of that sprained ankle, she had limited training time on this event. She's doing a back handspring layout step out, a very difficult move, little off to the side, and caused a fall.
So Lucy's score of 8.7 really puts the pressure on Georgia and on Andrea Thomas, who's on the beam now.
Andrea's really used to being able to handle pressure. She was a 1984 Olympian for the Canadian team. So back handspring layout step out. Good start.
Coach Yochlin says it's obvious why Andrea made the Olympic team in '84. She pays attention to every detail of every routine.
This is a tough position to be in when you've already had a fall on this event and you're the last person up. You know you've got to come out with a good performance. So 1.5 pirouette on the hands.
Kathy, how difficult are these tricks?
Well, the move she just did, the pirouette on the hands, is quite difficult, and her first move, back handspring layout, is difficult. The one-arm front walkover. She's got a good routine going so far. Now if she can just hit a good dismount. Round off, double twisting dismount, excellent. Very difficult move.
Great performance by Andrea Thomas. These Georgia fans know they're in it for real. Their Lady Bulldogs are contenders.
What's remarkable about this team is none of the girls played it safe and took out their hard moves. Georgia's not counting a single break on balance beam.
And look at this, a 9.7.
Certainly one of the highest scores we'll see here.
So after 4 rotations, Georgia takes the lead while the favorites sat out the rotation. We talked with their coaches just a couple of minutes ago.
You've got a full point lead over Utah going into balance beam and floor exercise, the 2 pressure events. Your feelings about that?
Oh, that's kind of dream come true. I just hope that we take advantage of that and stay calm and do the job there. It's going to be a little hard. Utah's on vaulting at the same time. This arena will be noisiest when we are on balance beam. They're focused. They know what they have to do. They're kind of pretending they're back home in Poly.
Well, we're going to have to be spectacular. We've got to come out. We've got to kind of regroup and come out and be much more aggressive with the last 2 events. It's going to be tough, to be honest, to make up a point, and even 0.6 of a point on those 2 teams is going to be tough. I think for us to make up that much, we're going to have to hope that they make a little mistake somewhere along the lines, and then we'll take advantage of that, hopefully.
So, Kathy Johnson, at least right now, it looks like UCLA is in a pretty good position to take over the lead.
UCLA went into the 3rd rotation with a very comfortable lead. 0.6 of a point ahead of Georgia, a full point ahead of Utah. However, Georgia just competed wonderfully on the balance beam. That's going to put a lot of pressure on UCLA. They still have to compete on the balance beam, and sometimes that event has proved to be very costly.
All right, for the moment, Georgia at least can breathe a little easier, and UCLA still has its work cut out.
Doing a great job. Go after the tumbling. You got the best tumbling in here. Come on.
That's Georgia coach Suzanne Yochlin inspiring her troops. And you might not have noticed, but some of them are wearing bulldog earrings.
They just sort of came about in the last day before we left to go to nationals. It was the smaller earrings as a gift to the team to remind them that they should be Georgia proud, and that's what we all are. And then the bigger ones for me, just because, you know, I feel like anything you wear or anything you do, if it's noticed, then it was worth doing and wearing, whether people like it or don't like it. It doesn't matter if it's noticed.
Well, notice the coach isn't wearing her bulldog earrings today, but also notice that Georgia is in the lead, and going into this 5th rotation, the Bulldogs are entering their final event on the floor. Number 1 seeded UCLA is on the beam, and 6-time defending champion Utah is on the vault. And here's Karen McMullen for UCLA on the beam.
It's really difficult to understand how close this competition is because of the setup. Georgia has competed on 1 more event than any of the other teams. But UCLA can really recapture the lead. But they've got to perform past the standard Georgia has already set on the balance beam. Karen's doing quite well so far. Back walkover, back handspring, back tuck. A little bobble, but not much.
Karen's a senior, so this could be the last time we're seeing her. competing on the college level.
A senior and a very steady performer usually on this event. Another slide bobble. That one's a little bit more costly than the one before.
Okay, we're going to leave Karen McMullen on the beam for a moment because Utah's Sonia Hone is getting ready to vault.
Full on, full twist off. Not a very difficult vault, but as you notice, it was a good landing.
Now let's go back to Karen McMullen, who's still on the beam.
She's recovered well from that one bobble. Working very steadily now. Preparing for a dismount. 2 back handsprings into a full twist.
And a strong finish for UCLA's Karen McMullen on the balance beam.
A great way to top off a super career in gymnastics.
Okay, now let's get the numbers on Sonia Hone. A 9.5, very strong performance for Utah. And for McMullen at the same time, a 9.3 for UCLA. And our leaders, Georgia, are on the floor. Here's Andrea Thomas.
Now, as I said early, Georgia has tremendous difficulty on this event. That is going to be very costly for Georgia. It's an alternate through to a double back, short on the landing.
Kathy, Andrea was the heroine for Georgia on the beam. What's happening here on the floor?
Well, it's a sign of a really good team that they can make up for another person's weakness. Her strength was on balance beam. She made up for Lucy Weiner. Lucy Weiner came out with a big score on the uneven bars. We have a few fairly high scores leading into Andrea's performance, but not really a big score that we're looking for. Here comes her middle tumbling run, a 2.5 twister. Little off on the landing.
Do you think they're a little too excited?
I have a feeling that's part of it. They know they're right up there in contention for the lead. I think they're trying to pour it all in right now. Little stumble. Here's her last tumbling run. Double twist.
All right, that's Georgia on the floor. And Georgia's certainly having its problems. While we're waiting for Andrea's score, let's take a look at Kim Hamilton. UCLA is having its problems, too. Kim's being consoled by Coach Jerry Tomlinson after a disappointing performance on the beam. Kathy, let's see what happened.
There's so much pressure involved in a team competition when there's 5 other girls depending on your score. I've seen her do this skill many times. Back handspring layout way off to the side. She usually never misses that.
So #1 seed UCLA now in deep trouble. And Andrea Thomas for Georgia sees her score a disappointing 8.7. At the same time, Utah's Tina Herman is standing by for her second vault, but her first attempt was a disaster.
She had problems with rotation on this vault. It's a handspring front. She just doesn't quite make it around and sits it down.
All right, now under pressure, Tina gets another try.
Good strong run. Nice rise off the horse and a good landing. Much better. It's very typical of Utah gymnastics. They do moves of medium difficulty and they do them extremely well. But let's watch this vault again. Watch the rise off the horse. Good height, rotation and distance, and a superb landing.
And Utah's Tina Herman nets a 9.4 on the vault. So the 6-time defending champs are definitely going to stay in this thing. And placing a pretty tall order on 4'10" Corrine Wright, who's getting ready to compete on the floor for Georgia.
To put themselves in a position to win this, they have got to come up with a big performance here and erase that 8-7. Anyone can do it, Corrine can. She's the best tumbler in this meet. Watch this first pass. Extremely difficult. Double layout, and she nails it. Off to a great start. Here's her second tumbling run. Nice high double twist.
According to Georgia coach Yocklin, Corrine's greatest strength, Kathy, is endurance and stamina.
I think we're going to test this endurance. I understand if she hasn't changed her mind, she's going to do a double back at the end of her routine. Very difficult. Corinne's a little weak in the dance area. She more than makes up for it in the tumbling. Like to see a little better toe point. Here it comes now. Last tumbling run. Good speed. And a high double back. Unbelievable.
How high up the floor do you think she is?
I'm not even going to venture to guess. She's way up there. Great performance.
Corinne loves it. The crowd loves it. An exciting finish for Georgia.
That could do it. That could do it. Let's take a look at that last pass. Now remember, this is the end of our floor routine. Look at the speed and dynamics of this tumbling pass. Way up in the air. And a perfect landing.
Corinne knows she's done a good job here. And there it is. A 9.65.
Great score. That could very well do it, Ann.
So Georgia's in the clubhouse, and if you notice, UCLA has dropped down to third with still another fall from the balance beam. So now it's up to the second-place Lady Utes to see if they can make it 7 titles in a row when we come back after this message and a word from your local station.